everybody, welcome to my channel.
Coco Chanel. A revolutionary in fashion, Coco Chanel, born Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel on August 19, 1883, in Saumur, France, was one of the most influential fashion designers of the 20th century. Her legacy reshaped the fashion industry and continues to define modern elegance and simplicity. She is best known for liberating women from the constraints of corseted silhouettes and introducing a more casual chic style that prioritized comfort, freedom, and understated luxury. Early life and background. Chanel's early life was marked by hardship. After her mother died when she was 11, she was sent to an orphanage run by nuns, where she learned to sew, a skill that would define her future. Her nickname Coco is believed to have originated during her brief career as a cabaret singer. Rise in fashion. Chanel began her fashion career by designing hats, opening her first boutique in 1910 in Paris. She quickly gained a reputation among the fashionable elite for her elegant and minimalist style. By the 1920s, she expanded into clothing and revolutionized women's fashion by promoting casual elegance over ornate, restrictive garments. Her designs included the Chanel suit, a collarless jacket and well-fitted skirt, combining elegance with comfort. The little black dress, LBD, introduced in 1926, it became an enduring staple of women's wardrobes. Tweed fabrics and jersey knitwear, traditionally used for men's clothing, Chanel reimagined them for women's wear. Chanel No. 5. In 1921, Chanel launched Chanel No. 5, the first designer perfume. It was revolutionary not only for its complex scent but also for being the first fragrance to carry a designer's name. With its sleek, minimalist bottle and abstract branding, Chanel No. 5 remains one of the best-selling perfumes in the world. Personal life and influence. Coco Chanel was a fiercely independent woman in an era when society limited women's roles. She had relationships with wealthy and influential men, including the Duke of Westminster, but never married. Her personal life, marked by controversy, especially her association with Nazi officers during World War II, has sparked debate and scrutiny. Nevertheless, her influence on fashion and culture is undeniable. She helped redefine femininity in the 20th century by encouraging women to dress for themselves rather than for men's expectations. Legacy. Coco Chanel died on January 10, 1971, at the Hotel Ritz in Paris, where she had lived for over 30 years. Today, Chanel remains one of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world. Under the creative direction of designers like Karl Lagerfeld and later Virginie Viard, the brand continues to innovate while honoring Chanel's original vision. Coco Chanel's mantra, "Fashion fades, only style remains the same," encapsulates her enduring impact. She didn't just create clothes, she changed how women saw themselves. Fashion philosophy. Coco Chanel was more than a designer. She was a cultural icon who reshaped the concept of femininity. Her fashion philosophy was built on simplicity, comfort, and elegance. She rejected the ornate and restrictive fashions of the Belle Époque and created a new aesthetic for the modern woman. Key elements of her fashion ideology included: luxury must be comfortable, otherwise it is not luxury. Emphasis on clean lines, neutral colors, and minimal ornamentation. Introduction of masculine elements into women's fashion, pants, tailored blazers, and trousers, groundbreaking for the time. Advocacy for personal style over trends. Chanel believed a woman should wear the clothes, not the other way around. Her innovations made fashion accessible and practical for women while maintaining a sense of refinement and sophistication. Iconic designs beyond the little black dress and the Chanel suit. Chanel introduced several other timeless pieces. Costume jewelry. Chanel popularized mixing faux pearls and gold chains with real jewels, making fashion more versatile and playful. Two-toned shoes. Beige with a black toe cap to elongate the leg and shorten the foot. The quilted handbag. The Chanel 2.55, launched in 1955. With a chain strap allowing women to carry it hands-free, another nod to practicality. Controversies during World War II. One of the most debated aspects of Chanel's life was her behavior during World War II. During the Nazi occupation of Paris, she lived at the Hotel Ritz, which was also used by high-ranking German officers. She had a romantic relationship with Hans Gunther von Dinklage, a German intelligence officer. After the war, Chanel was briefly arrested on suspicion of collaboration. But she was released, reportedly due to intervention from powerful friends such as Winston Churchill. Fearing further scrutiny, she moved to Switzerland, where she remained in semi-exile for nearly a decade. These events have led to significant re-evaluation of her legacy in recent years, with biographers and historians offering differing interpretations of her motivations and allegiances. Return to fashion, 1954. In 1954, at the age of 71, Chanel made a dramatic comeback to fashion. While the post-war world embraced Christian Dior's new look with its cinched waists and voluminous skirts, Chanel rejected this return to pre-war femininity. Her collection, initially panned in France, found great success in the United States, where her progressive style was still admired. Her return solidified her as a timeless designer, bridging eras and influencing future generations. Death and posthumous influence. Coco Chanel passed away on January 10, 1971, at 87 years old, still actively working on her designs. After her death, several designers attempted to carry on the Chanel legacy, but it was Karl Lagerfeld, appointed in 1983, who reinvented and revitalized the brand. Lagerfeld honored Chanel's aesthetic, monochrome colors, pearls, tweed, camellias, but infused it with modern energy and boldness, making Chanel one of the most powerful luxury brands globally. Cultural impact and legacy. Feminist symbol. Despite never identifying with feminism, Chanel's lifestyle and career became an emblem of female empowerment, showing women they could be independent, stylish, and successful. Enduring brand. Today, Chanel is a global empire, with haute couture, ready-to-wear, accessories, fragrances, and cosmetics. Muse for artists, her life has inspired films, books, and documentaries, including Coco Before Chanel, 2009, starring Audrey Tautou. Famous quotes. Coco Chanel was also known for her wit and memorable statements, including, "A girl should be two things, classy and fabulous. I don't do fashion. I am fashion. Dress shabbily and they remember the dress. Dress impeccably and they remember the woman." A singular personality. Coco the woman. Coco Chanel was complex, ambitious, and fiercely independent. She was often described as a woman of contradictions, both elegant and ruthless. Generous yet calculating, ahead of her time and shaped by it. She reinvented herself constantly, hiding aspects of her childhood, including her time in the orphanage, and creating myths to suit her image. She claimed to be born in 1893, shaving 10 years off her age. She lied about her origins, calling her father a traveler rather than admitting he abandoned her. Chanel built her name as a self-made woman, carefully curating her public image. Her independence, unmatched drive, and ability to shape public perception were revolutionary, not just in fashion, but for women in business. Magic wand. Redefining femininity and beauty. Before Chanel, femininity was defined by corsets, long skirts, and delicacy. She replaced that vision with freedom, movement, and androgynous silhouettes. Chanel believed that a woman should feel powerful and comfortable in her clothes. Her designs followed the body, rather than restricting it. Key changes she brought to beauty ideals. Shorter haircuts. Her own cropped bob inspired a trend in the 1920s. Tanned skin. After a sunburned holiday on the Riviera, her bronze glow started a trend, replacing pale skin as the standard of beauty. Minimalist makeup. She preferred clean, elegant looks, bold lips with little else. Handbag. The Chanel brand after Coco. After her death, the Chanel brand risked fading into nostalgia. However, with Karl Lagerfeld's arrival in 1983, the label was revived into a global fashion powerhouse. Lagerfeld's contributions. Preserved Chanel's codes: tweed, pearls, camellias, monochrome palette. Modernized silhouettes. Structured, bold, yet retaining Chanel's elegance. Celebrity branding. Made the brand a favorite among stars like Keira Knightley, Kristen Stewart, and Pharrell Williams. Global expansion. Chanel boutiques opened in major cities worldwide, with perfume, beauty, and accessories becoming luxury staples. Today, Virginie Viard, Chanel's longtime collaborator and Lagerfeld's successor, continues to uphold Coco's minimalist elegance while softening the brand for a new era. Lotion bottle. The power of Chanel No. 5. Chanel No. 5 was more than a fragrance, it was a revolution in branding and identity. Created with perfumer Ernest Beau in 1921, the first perfume made with synthetic aldehydes, creating a uniquely modern scent. Iconic for its numbered name, abstract bottle, and bold marketing. Immortalized when Marilyn Monroe said she wore nothing to bed but 5 drops of Chanel No. 5. Chanel understood branding long before the term was mainstream, and No. 5 became synonymous with sophistication and sensuality. Mirror Coco Chanel and feminism. Though Chanel never called herself a feminist, her impact on women's freedom and self-expression was monumental. She ran her own business at a time when women were rarely seen in leadership. She challenged what women were allowed to wear, encouraging confidence over conformity. Her designs allowed women to move, walk, breathe, and work freely, clothing for real life, not just appearances. In this way, Chanel became an unintentional feminist icon, promoting agency through aesthetics. Dove. Coco Chanel's enduring influence. Coco Chanel's influence can be seen in every little black dress worn since the 1920s. The continued use of neutral palettes, tailored blazers, and costume jewelry in fashion. A worldwide culture of women dressing for themselves, not for others. The concept of quiet luxury, elegant, subtle wealth, which she mastered decades before it became a trend. She did not just create a fashion house, she defined an era, then transcended it. Coco Chanel. A timeline of her life and career. 1883. Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel is born on August 19 in Saumur, France, to a poor family. After her mother's death, she is placed in an orphanage in Aubazine, where nuns teach her sewing. 1901 to 1908. As a young adult, Chanel works as a seamstress by day and a cabaret singer at night. She earns the nickname Coco from a popular song she performed. 1909–1910, she becomes the mistress of Etienne Balsan, then later Arthur Boy Capel, who both support her financially and socially. With Capel's help, she opens her first hat shop in Paris at 21 Rue Cambon. 1913, opens a boutique in Deauville, selling hats, jersey sportswear, and simple dresses, a radical contrast to the fashion norms of the time. 1915 to 1919, opens her fashion house in Biarritz in Paris. Her designs become popular during World War I for their practicality and elegance. 1921, launches Chanel No. 5, the first perfume to carry a designer's name. It becomes an instant icon. 1926, introduces the little black dress in Vogue magazine. It is called Chanel's Ford, likening it to the Model T for its simplicity and mass appeal. 1931 to 1939, becomes a global celebrity. Hollywood and European royalty wear her designs. She collaborates with MGM in the US on film costumes. 1939, closes her fashion house at the outbreak of World War II. Remains in Paris, living at the Ritz during the German occupation. 1944, arrested for suspected collaboration with Nazis but released. Flees to Switzerland and stays in exile for nearly a decade. 1954, returns to fashion with a new collection at age 71. French critics mock it, but it is widely praised in the US and UK. 1955, introduces the Chanel 2.55 quilted handbag. With a revolutionary shoulder strap for hands-free ease. 1971, Chanel dies on January 10 at the Ritz Hotel in Paris. She was still working on her designs days before her death. Coco Chanel's influence on other designers. Coco Chanel paved the way for generations of designers who blended elegance with function and style with self-expression. Many openly acknowledged her impact. Yves Saint Laurent carried on her androgynous influence with the tuxedo suit for women, Le Smoking. Christian Dior, though a rival with a different vision, his new look clashed with her minimalism. He respected her influence on modern fashion. Karl Lagerfeld became her true heir in spirit, updating her designs for the late 20th century while preserving her DNA. Chanel's emphasis on branding, logo identity, and lifestyle marketing also shaped the strategies of luxury houses like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and Hermes. TV Coco Chanel. In pop culture, Chanel's image has become a symbol of timeless sophistication. She has been portrayed and referenced in numerous films, books, and media. Clapperboard Coco before Chanel, 2009, starring Audrey Tautou, explores her early life. Clapperboard Coco Chanel and Igor Stravinsky, 2009, dramatizes her rumored affair with the composer. Books countless biographies, including Chanel and Her World by Edmund Charles Roux, and Sleeping with the Enemy by Hal Vaughan, exploring her wartime past. Her quotes are widely shared, and her face often appears in artwork. Illustrations and memes centered around elegance, empowerment, and rebellion. Briefcase business lessons from Chanel. Coco Chanel wasn't just a designer. She was a savvy businesswoman who understood the power of branding, long before it became a common business strategy. Brand identity. She unified all elements, perfume, fashion, accessories, under her name and signature aesthetic, clean lines, black and white, pearls, camellias. Scarcity and exclusivity. By limiting supply and maintaining high prices, she cultivated an aura of prestige. Emotional selling. Chanel No. 5 wasn't just a scent, it was a story, an identity, a lifestyle. Consistency. She stuck to her visual codes, monochrome palette, signature tweed, gold buttons, something modern luxury brands still mimic. Her business acumen helped establish luxury marketing as we know it today. Balance scale. Chanel's complicated moral legacy. While Chanel's creative genius is uncontested, her wartime collaboration and anti-Semitic views remain troubling aspects of her story. Some scholars suggest she used the Nazi regime to reclaim her perfume business from her Jewish business partners, the Wertheimer brothers, though they later regained control. This duality, genius designer, but morally ambiguous figure, makes her a fascinating and controversial icon, continuously re-examined through modern lenses. personal relationships and influence on her life. Coco Chanel never married, yet her romantic relationships shaped her personal life and career profoundly. She often moved in elite social circles, forming bonds with powerful, wealthy, and artistic men. Arthur Boy Capel, an English polo player and business tycoon, funded her first boutiques in Paris and Deauville. He was the great love of her life, and his death in a car crash in 1919 devastated her. Chanel often said she would have married him had he not been engaged to another. The Duke of Westminster, Hugh Grosvenor, one of the richest men in Europe. They had a decade-long affair during the 1920s. He gifted her property in the French Riviera, where she built La Pausa, her villa. He proposed, but Chanel refused, famously saying, "There have been several Duchesses of Westminster, there is only one Chanel." Igor Stravinsky, the Russian composer, lived briefly with Chanel at her villa in the early 1920s. They shared a short, passionate affair. Chanel later anonymously funded his revival of the Rite of Spring. These relationships enriched her life and social standing. But Chanel remained deeply independent, never defining herself by a man, which was highly unconventional for the era. Cherry blossom signature symbols and Chanel codes. Coco Chanel masterfully built a visual language for her brand, full of enduring motifs that remain central to Chanel's identity today. 1. The camellia flower, simple, elegant, and symmetrical, everything Chanel admired. Camellias are featured on dresses, handbags, accessories, and even perfume bottles. 2. The interlocking C logo, designed after her initials. Introduced in the 1920s but became widely used under Karl Lagerfeld's direction in the 1980s. Now one of the most recognized luxury symbols in the world. 3. Black and white palette, her favorite color combination, seen in nearly every Chanel collection. Symbolized clarity, simplicity, and strength. 4. Costume jewelry, she broke the taboo that only real jewelry was appropriate. Mixed faux pearls with diamonds, gold chains with enamel, to express bold femininity. 5. Tweed, inspired by British sportswear worn by the Duke of Westminster. Chanel softened the fabric's masculinity, tailoring it into lightweight, refined suits for women. 6. Quilted stitching, seen on handbags and jackets. Inspired by horse saddles and equestrian wear, a nod to her love of riding. Each of these symbols was not just decorative, but intentional, expressing Chanel's values: independence, elegance, comfort, and confidence. Coco Chanel's impact on post-war fashion. When Chanel reopened her fashion house in 1954, the fashion world was dominated by Christian Dior's new look, which emphasized cinched waists, full skirts, hyper-femininity. Chanel's comeback rejected all of this. She reintroduced her streamlined silhouettes, relaxed tailoring, and uncomplicated luxury. At first, French critics dismissed her as outdated. But the American and British markets embraced her. Business women, actresses, and editors preferred Chanel's wearable and sophisticated pieces. She anticipated the rise of the career woman and the urban cosmopolitan female identity, long before the feminist movements of the 1960s and 70s made such ideals mainstream. Books: The Myth and the Brand. After death. Since her passing in 1971, Chanel has evolved into a mythical figure, the ultimate icon of fashion independence. Her image has been carefully managed by the fashion house to reflect mystery. Few designers cultivated such secrecy around their private lives. Visionary power. She is often portrayed as an unstoppable force who shaped the modern woman. Enduring relevance. Her
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.